my name is Bernie. My grandkids call me Pappy. I am a retired engineer and I've always been a do-it-yourselfer all my life. Enough about me, let's fix something. In this video, I'm going to show you a relatively simple way to make a refrigerator work in an unheated space, say for example, a cold garage. To be more specific, the problem is when the freezer doesn't stay cold enough, allowing the frozen food to thaw and the ice cream to melt. First, a brief description of the problem. Some refrigerators only have one thermostat located in the section where the fresh food is stored. Here's where you need to be careful. Some refrigerators have two temperature control devices. Here is the thermostat for the fresh food or refrigerator compartment. Here is the temperature control device for the freezer. This temperature control device is not a thermostat. It is simply a flapper valve that divides the cold air coming from the compressor area between the refrigerator and the freezer. Again, it is not a thermostat. It cannot turn the compressor motor on and off. When the refrigerator freezer unit is in a cold garage, say 35 degrees outside the house and inside the garage, and the refrigerator is set to about 40 degrees fresh food temperature, the refrigerator has to run very little to maintain the 40-degree temperature setting in the refrigerator. As a result, the freezer starts to warm up. Soon, the temperature in the freezer has crept up to 34 degrees while the refrigerator compartment has held the 40-degree setting. A refrigerator freezer unit that has two thermostats, a separate one for each compartment, will not experience this problem. It's the refrigerator with only one thermostat that allows the freezer to get too warm. Some refrigerator manufacturers solve this problem by selling you an optional refrigerator heater package. A small heating element, powered by the electricity of the refrigerator, warms the air in the refrigerator. It is normally installed here in this compartment that holds the thermostat and the light bulb. This causes the compressor to run more often and keeps the freezer compartment cold enough. There is a video online showing how to install this device, and it seems complicated. My solution to the problem is to modify the refrigerator so that the light bulb stays on all the time. If your freezer has a light bulb, leave it alone. Powering a bulb in the freezer will not help. In fact, this will only make the problem worse. If there is a switch that touches the door when it is closed, see if the switch can be popped out of its mounting hole. Then, when the door is closed, the bulb will stay on all the time. Always unplug the refrigerator before working on any electrical components. After you've unplugged the refrigerator, access the panel that holds the door switch. It's easier to work if you unplug the panel. Okay, the switch can be pulled out after removing the two leads to the switch. After popping the door switch out of the mounting panel, reattach the leads to the switch. Tuck the switch back into the panel and reinstall it in the refrigerator. Now, with the door switch disabled, the light in the refrigerator will stay on all the time. This is the no-cost way to make the bulb burn and generate a little bit of heat in the refrigerator. The problem with this method is that twice a year you're going to have to remove this panel and reposition the door switch to make this concept work. When replacing the thermostat panel, be sure to line up the back pin with the back of the refrigerator, or it won't go together. Of course, keeping the bulb on in the refrigerator compartment all the time will cost you a little more to do this, but your freezer items will be okay. When springtime comes around and the garage warms up to 45 or 50 degrees, you should put the bulb switch back in its position to return to normal power usage. I didn't want to pop the door switch in and out twice a year, so I took the idea to the next step. I wired an on-off switch into the circuit where the wires go to the door switch. This is the toggle switch we used to bypass the door switch in a refrigerator. I purchased it at the local home improvement store for less than $5. It's rated for 125 volts and 6 amps. With a 40-watt appliance bulb, you should be pulling about 1/3 amp, so we should be good to go. These are the wire connectors I used to tap into the 2 leads going to the door switch. This is what they look like. I'll show you in a minute how we use these to tie the toggle switch into the wires going to the door switch. Okay, if you haven't used a tap switch before, here's how it works. I took my toggle switch and I cut off the stranded wire end because I wanted to center it in the connector. So you take the connector and you slip it over the wire that you want to tap into, and then you take the wire that you're trying to connect to it, you insert into the connector, and just using a standard pair of pliers, you come in here and you depress the metal connector inside. You snap it shut. Of course, you got to snap it shut. And now you've tapped into one of the leads going to the door switch. I'll do the other one and show you the finished product. Okay, this is what your finished electrical connection is going to look like, except that you'll have a real door switch. I didn't want to take my refrigerator apart again, so I just simulated the switch. You can see the 2 tap connectors have now tied the toggle switch into the leads going to the door switch that turns the bulb on and off. So this is how the toggle switch works. With the toggle switch in the off position, the door switch works as it should normally. With the toggle switch in the on position, the refrigerator light stays on when the door is closed. Now, to see if my idea of using a toggle switch was working like I wanted it to, I wanted it to monitor the temperature both in the refrigerator and in the freezer compartment. One refrigerator manufacturer, in his operating manual, suggested a refrigerator temperature of 38 degrees F and a freezer temperature of -2 degrees Fahrenheit. I already had a digital wireless indoor-outdoor thermometer that I had purchased for about $20 from the local home improvement store. Okay, so using this indoor-outdoor thermometer, I placed the transmitter for outdoor unit in the freezer, and then I placed the indoor unit in the refrigerator. We'll come back in a while and see what we have. Okay, we've had our indoor-outdoor thermometer in here for a while. Let's see what progress we're making. Okay, let's get some light so you can see this. Okay, our refrigerator temperature is 42. Our freezer temperature is 6. So we've got a little ways to go. So let's put this back in here. And at this point, you make adjustments to the refrigerator thermostat here, and also to the freezer compartment adjustment slider valve in here. All right, we've made a few adjustments. Let's come back later and see what we have. Okay, let's check our progress here. Okay, we're now at the point where the refrigerator temperature is 39, almost perfect if our target is 38, and our freezer temperature is +3. So we've got a little ways to go, but you get the idea. Make your adjustments, and you can now get a freezer that's going to work for you. Okay, I'm going to point out one last feature here to fine-tune this project. The original bulb in the refrigerator compartment was a 40-watt bulb, and I figured it out that this was probably causing the compressor to run more than it needed to, so I replaced the 40-watt bulb with a 25-watt appliance bulb. A word of caution here: the newer LED bulbs do not give off near as much heat as the old style incandescent bulbs. Neither do the fluorescent bulbs. So for this project, you should probably steer clear of those bulbs and use only the old style. Sure enough, I was able to achieve my target temperatures of 38 degrees in the refrigerator and -2 degrees in the freezer by using a 25-watt bulb. I would have tried a smaller bulb, maybe a 15, but by then you wouldn't be able to see the food in the refrigerator. Thank you for watching the video. I hope the information was useful, and hope to see you again sometime.